Hey everybody, this is Previews and Reviews. Today we've got Eric McKinney back and we've got a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Brad Smith. I'm from Creature Movie Reviews, and Hayden asked me to come on here and talk a little bit about Godzilla and Kong, and I am super excited.
King Kong 2005. What do you guys is like? What was you guys' first experience watching it?
Well, I can go first on that one because it was the first time I watched it was today. I missed it when it came out in theaters. Everybody was talking about it. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, this is Peter Jackson right after Lord of the Rings." It was a big deal, and I just didn't care to see it. I don't know why. And so you were like, "Hey, let's watch it." And I was like, "This is a perfect opportunity to sit down and finally watch it." Force myself to watch it, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it's a good movie. If we're gonna dive right in, and I'm sure the complaint we're all gonna say is it's 3 hours long. I mean, come on. It's I get it. There's a lot of story to put in there, but by the end of it, I needed a break. 3 hours is, and I can't imagine sitting in a movie theater in a chair, and you're eating, you're drinking, you gotta get up and go to the bathroom. 3 hours is just too long for a movie.
Yeah.
That being said, it was a good movie.
Yeah. So I take it we've all seen the extended cut then, because if I remember right, it's the extended cuts that's 3 hours. So you saw the one where it's got like the Pachyrhinosaur looking thing and the swimming thing. Okay, awesome. Because that's actually my favorite version of the movie, but I agree, it's way too long. It's like there needs to be an intermission. But such a good movie. I've always been a dinosaur guy, because of Jurassic Park, and the first time I actually heard about King Kong was when my older cousin had told me he went and saw it in theaters, and it was awesome. And I didn't get to see it till way later, and the majority of the times I had seen it before we finally got it on Blu-ray was like on TV. So I'd see it like with how like TV cuts things out of movies to make it shorter so they can throw commercials at you. So I think the first time I'd actually seen it all the way through was when we got it on Blu-ray. And we got it with, the theatrical version and the extended cut, and it was just fantastic. My biggest complaint with it though is it goes from fun action vintage thriller to creepy horror movie whenever it's got the native people. Like, straight up, those scenes always give me the heebie-jeebies. I always just want to go click, 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 and skip, and dinosaurs, yay. But because like, Eric, have you ever been to Universal Studios?
I have not.
Man, we need to take a trip down there. Have you ever been?
I have. I know what you're talking about. That Kong ride. Yeah, I've been on it. It really, you get an idea of how big Kong is on that ride.
Yeah, that ride is insane. I absolutely love it. I hate that they took out one of the Jurassic Park gates to put that in. That's my only complaint. Because otherwise, it just feels like you come in through the back door when you go in that gate. And like that gate, you could see from like all the way across like Toon Lagoon. Whereas the other gate, you have to like get around all the trees and Harry Potter Castle to just finally see the gate. Yeah. So that's kind of sad, but I thought that ride really captured the movie. Well, it was almost like what if they went back to Skull Island and there was another King Kong? But it was actually, did you guys know it was supposed to get a sequel?
Yeah, Skull Island.
Mm-hmm. Well, the 2005 one, yeah.
Yeah, it was called Skull Island. It was actually a prequel.
Oh, wow.
I did hear that. Yeah.
It was gonna be about it was gonna be about how the Mayflower had a ship that accompanied it and it got lost at sea. It's gonna be about that ship that got lost.
Oh, wow.
I'd watch that.
I would definitely watch that. Because this thing, like, we only got to go to Kong to Skull Island once, really, in the movies. And they Peter Jackson did so much world building on that. And Eric, wasn't it you who was telling me a lot of like why he made King Kong?
Yeah, it was a passion project for him. It was a huge. That's why it had a lot of. It was very innovative in the special effects. It still is today. It looks great. I know you guys watched it today. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
didn't get to watch 3 hours like you said, but it was really innovative in the special effects. And he like you said, 3 hours long. He went a little too deep into it for sure, but you can see the passion behind it. Even if it was a little boring, it was for me. It's still crazy amounts of entertaining
Yeah.
because it developed those characters.
Now, Eric, did you see it in theaters?
I did not. I saw it back when there was Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I
one of
have
first.
the Blockbuster board game. I think it'd be fun to get a bunch of people. We figure out a way to do it over Zoom or something. Get a bunch of like movie nerds to play it. I think that'd be
Fun.
yeah.
Yeah, it would.
So let me
But
ask
yeah,
you guys, what'd you think about Jack Black?
It's my
I think-
favorite Jack Black movie.
Okay.
I think he was surprisingly convincing. I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't add any comedy really, which was awesome. I like to see him in serious roles like that. I always like when you see a comedian take on a role that you wouldn't normally see them in, and that he rocked it. He played the role of a film director who was ruthless and willing to get his job done no matter what, really well, really convincing.
I honestly,
agree.
when people ask me like what Jack Black movies I like, I honestly forget that he's in this one until I sit down and watch it. Because it's almost like he's a different actor. It's not a bunch of dumb humor, not a bunch of crude humor. He takes this role very seriously, and I absolutely love that.
I think that probably comes with working with Peter Jackson in general, though. He seems like a really immersive director.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who plays Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. The guy broke his toe or whatever, kicking that helmet, and still kept character. So I think on a Peter Jackson set, it's just a little different.
Yeah.
I'd say so. I think he did a good job too. There's a part where the film that he's filming, falls and it's in a tree, and that whole time I was just like, save the film,
Right.
and it was his hard work that I was like, don't lose that. And of course, he comes back with something much better. But
right.
as far as King Kong 2005, I want to know what your ratings are. How many popcorn buckets do you give that one?
Eric,
me,
I'll let you go first.
I think it would be Yeah, for me, I think it'd be unfair to give a rating right now since I didn't get to watch it recently, and I have kind of that childhood wonder of remembering the movie. I haven't seen it in like 2 years. For me, it'd be probably a solid like 8.
Okay.
It's a stellar film to me.
Did you
As far
say a
as
solid
entertainment
8?
goes,
How about you?
I agree.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. Right?
That's
Is that how we do? Oh goodness, I forgot.
Man, it's been so long since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
We always do the like
It has,
5
really
and then
has.
5.
So a solid 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Cool. I actually, despite some of the areas where it's kind of boring, the reason I'm going to give it 5 popcorn buckets from me is because of the atmosphere every scene creates. And I'll get into that a little bit, just a smidgen more when I give it the film reels. But I got to give it a 5 out of 5. It always sucks me in. Even the slower parts, I have a hard time not just sitting there and watching it.
Yeah, I would have to split the difference between you guys and say 4.5. If we can do that.
Yeah, we
4.5.
can do that.
It's worthy of. It's just not quite 5. I mean, there's a few times where I was, more interested in my phone or whatever, so not quite a perfect movie, but certainly entertaining. And you're right, the atmosphere is there. Even in the parts in the beginning when they're in New York City and they're setting stuff up, it's like I was really getting in the mood of the 1930s, and it makes you want to go back.
Right.
Yeah. So Eric, film reels wise, what would you give it?
That's a 5 out of 5.
I gotta agree with that.
When you think about it, yeah, it is. That is still an innovative film. It still looks great to this day. You can't find a single frame that doesn't look like it takes place within that universe, or an actor that is having an offbeat moment. Even Jimmy, who is a super good, the little kiddo.
Yeah. He's the kid with the blue shirt that the older guy was like, "No, you need to stay on the boat."
Yep.
Yeah. Even him, he killed that role. Now he's playing George Washington's spies, stuff like that. That was his first role, I believe, and he killed it.
He did good. I imagine, like you said, working with Peter Jackson and this is his passion project. This is what he cares about. So there's got to be a lot of that electricity on the set. And I know some of the behind the scenes and bonus footage there, he remade a lot of scenes that have not to been lost. And I think he did it with claymation too, or stop motion at least. And that shows that he didn't even put it in the movie and he still did it. Like, yeah, it's got to be a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and he went way deeper into the world building for this than you even see in the film. I mean, all the dinosaur species, all the species of animal that live on the island have specific names, like scientific names that he gave them that you never hear in the movie. The only creature's name you hear is King Kong.
Right.
But you've got the Vasutosaurus, Rex. You got, I don't even remember what several of the others are called. But just, and the island, if you look at it on the map, you can tell like how it's kind of got like water, like almost rivers flowing through it, it looks like. And that's because the island is actually gradually sinking into the ocean to be lost forever.
Right.
And you don't know that watching the movie. They never tell you these things. And it's just that level of world building he went into. I don't think that they could ever make a King Kong movie telling the original King Kong story any better. It would be very, I would say, impossible. I mean, unless they essentially just recreated this one shot for shot, which then it would just be a bland remake. But maturity rating, what would you guys give it?
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the maturity rating.
That's totally fine, man.
So I'm frozen, or Hayden's frozen. Are you?
You're frozen on my end. I think you both are.
When Hayden unfreezes, I'll ask him what the Hayden. What I guess it would be more for like older teens. What would that be again?
I don't even remember what we used to call it, because we used to have like the little emoticons that we would put on the video. I don't do that anymore. I got tired of those. They looked tacky to me after a while. I was like, no, I'm just gonna throw up words.
I agree. I'd say more for that movie scared the crap out of me when I was little, but it was still a good movie. Especially the insect scene that scared me when I was little.
The leeches,
so probably not for your younger kids, especially when they talk about the porn scene, making stuff like that. Probably more like your upper teens.
Yeah.
Your upper teenagers can handle it.
Yeah, that's fine. When I watched it, I had my 2-year-old with me, but he was running around. He didn't see the parts that, the scary parts with the villagers, which was great. I mean, that was really eerie. But then every time he saw Kong, he'd be like, monkey. Yeah. So he liked it. He's having fun and stuff. But if you were old enough to know what's going on, I would say you'd want to be a teenager. Or honestly, it's probably made for people in their 20s and 30s that can appreciate, that never saw the 30s or the 60s version, and I mean, it's made for guys like us.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember I work at a summer camp. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
My apologies. I was working at a summer camp and Kong Skull Island was first coming out, and all the kids had gone to see it. They were talking about it in the classroom. They're like, it was so good. And I was like, but have you guys seen the 2005 one? And they're like, the one where they're on the ship the entire movie? That one's boring. It's like, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, they don't understand what's,
yeah. But because when I heard that they were doing Kong Skull Island, I was so iffy about it. I was like, okay, how are they going to, and that's the thing. They didn't try to make a better King Kong movie, like with the original story. They didn't try that. That's the first King Kong movie where Kong isn't taken off of the island, pretty much. Like, I mean, at least that I can think of. I've not seen a lot of
Yeah, no, you're right.
a lot of like the sequels or whatever, because like there's like Kong movies where he like fights a robot gorilla and like stuff like that. I haven't seen those.
Yeah,
No
those
one
are
remembers
Japanese
those.
ones.
Huh?
Those are the Japanese films, the Japanese Kong. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of them. There's like Kong Lives, 1980s King Kong, fights a giant python, all kind. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. I think teens, probably, young adults, like college age, probably the most appropriate audience for this film. But then again, I was a kid when I watched it, and other than the leeches and the scary native people, I loved every minute of it. And that's something about the film I really appreciate is, other than, a few curse words here, there's not a lot of foul language. And other than, the guy insinuating like, hey, go work at the strip club, because like I never caught that as a kid. It wasn't until I was a teenager I finally caught what what was happening there. I was like, oh. And so,
Mhm.
in certain respects, like, younger kids could watch it and it not phase them. I could see how certain scenes could give them nightmares, though. It's really just, especially like if you're a parent watching, know your kid and know what they can handle. That would be my
Okay.
best
Okay.
advice.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Yep.
if I'm recommending it just generally, I would say probably teens or college age. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Previews and Reviews with special guests from Creature Movie Reviews. Definitely go check out their channel. I'll leave a button at the end of this video for you guys to go check them out. Some really awesome reviews on there, especially for movies you've never heard of. I can guarantee you that. There's been several I've watched that I want to go check out at some point. But anyways, my name's Hayden.
My name's Eric.
My name's Brad.
And we'll see you in our next video. God bless.